Hello everybody, today we'll be doing string to integer. Write a method to convert a string representation of an integer into its equivalent integer number. So we have input 1, 2, 3 and output 1, 2, 3 and negative 6, 7, 1, 4 to negative 6, 1, 7, 1, 4 as integers. We'll be given all valid inputs. So all inputs will be valid ints. So this would be a valid int. This would be a valid int. There are none empty strings. So we will always be given a valid string. There are no, let's say, spaces. There are no spaces between our strings, and there are just no invalid strings that will be given. So our test cases would be rather a few, like these right here. And yes, there will be like leading zeros, but that's not really a, like that. And our output would be 33, but that's fine and all, dandy. And that's all. So the first item will always be a negative or a positive or nothing. And that's all, right? So let me just comment that out. I'll come back with some test cases and we'll be ready to do this problem. Just give me one moment to do the time, which is O of n, because we're going to plan to go through all the entire length of the string. And the space-wise, we're going to take O of 1 because we just need an integer, one integer to hold all the items. With that, I'll be back. So hello everybody, we're back and we have gotten the starter code for this problem. We have our test cases and we're ready to do our match. The match that we plan to do is just a loop, and the plan is that we will be creating, we could either A, create a dictionary from string to int, or B, use ORD to get the ASCII code. So there are two ways to do this. I believe that using a dictionary would make this more clear to the next user that that's what we're actually doing here, just doing a conversion without using the command like int to our string, because that's one way to do this properly at this point, but we're not allowed to do this. So if we're going to do this, then we will need, then we will need to we can't use this function. So essentially, there are two ways to do it. You can use a dictionary to convert a string to our particular int, or use the ORD to convert anything in between to our ASCII, and then subtract the ASCII from 0. So those are the two things that we can do. I'm going to choose to do a dictionary because let's check that out to see what happens from there. So let's return 0 at this point, or pass. That makes more sense to me because that returns none. So let's create that dictionary. S string so s string to int dict. Okay, so then we have our 0, which gives us a 0, and so on and so forth. This does take some time, but we only have to do this 9 times. Let me speed this up and I'll be back. Okay, with that, we have our dictionary, and what we need to do is create an output of 0 to be added to. So output equals 0. Create a flag for the negative num. So let's get the first item. So, and the negative. Negative is equal to false if s of 0 is equal to a negative item, then negative is equal to true. One thing we also need to do is determine where we start for our for loop. For C in S, we need to know where to start. If we start at like 1 or start at 0, because it's not negative. So with that, we have that taken care of, and we can do our for loop. So add to output times 10, then return. So we're going to add, so output times equals 10, then we're going to output plus equals our dictionary, so string to int dict at C. And with that, we are ready to return our outputs. If it's if negative, like output times equals -1, and return output. With that, we are good to go. We can start simplifying this code a little bit after we check if it works or not. And it all works completely well. So there must be some way to help make this code a little bit clearer. So we can do this. So that simplifies that line of code a little bit without too much reading. This needs to be pushed out a little bit, and we can do a start equals output equals 0. That doesn't make too much sense to me, but we can do this instead. We can do start, and we can do output. We can do 0, 0. And that's pretty good. So with that, we have completed the problem. String to int. So I'm excited to take a look at the next problem, which is int to string, and that goes in the reverse direction. So with that, let me give you there's also the OR method. We can check that out right now. And we know for sure that all items are valid, so then we don't have to deal with any of the edge cases with letters or anything. So anyways, evaluation. The time is going to be O of n for a number of times we see however long the string, and the space is going to be O of 1 because we're just creating one output. The dictionary is going to be O of 1 because there's only like 10 items, and yeah, that's it. Perfect. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. If you have better code, yeah, please comment below so we can all learn together. And yeah, so I will do the word method right now, and I'll see you in the next one.